everyone. Welcome back to Perfect Pitch. I'm your host, Nicole Rodriguez, also the CEO and founder of NRPR Group. And as most of you know, I love interviewing top members of the media, especially members of the media who are friends of mine that I have worked with for a very long time. And today I am welcoming another friend, someone that I have been working with, I would say at least 7 or 8 years. Jerry Doby, the editor-in-chief of The Hype magazine. And for those of you who don't know, little nugget, The Hype stands for How You Perceive Everything. And the publication covers entertainment, music, news, especially music, and music reviews and interviews. And Jerry, I am so happy to have you here. It has been amazing. Just like I know we were chatting right before the show started, but miss you a ton, and welcome to the show.
Nicole, miss you back. Love working with you. Appreciate being on Perfect Pitch and having the opportunity to share some nuggets with people.
I love it.
I don't do very many of these, so this is really special for me.
I am honored. I'm honored that you've taken the time out of your busy schedule running this media organization to chat with us. So, with that being said, I feel like the Hype magazine, you have your podcast, you have the online presence. I even know you were doing events here and there. Like, tell us the story of how the Hype magazine came to be, how you sort of envisioned this, and what people can learn, from your experience.
Okay. Well, the Hype magazine was founded in 2002 as a one-page community newsletter by our founder and CEO, Jamila Just J. Wilkerson, Dr. Jamila Just J. Wilkerson now, in Muncie, Indiana. And it started out because in the city of Muncie, there was no entertainment publication to let people know what were going on with current events and things like that. So she started it. And then in 2004, the internet became like this big must-have thing. And she took it digital, and we became the #1 digital magazine in print. We were giving away free print magazines for a while throughout the Indiana area, became the voice of the Midwest. And later on, we began to encompass news from hip hop to Hollywood. So we started covering everything that we considered to be news. It doesn't matter whether it's EDM, whether it's, the Blue Angels. We've talked to everybody from Aretha Franklin, rest in peace, to the new stars, Yellow Beezy and things like that. So as for my career start, I was in the military and I got hurt in Afghanistan, and I knew I had to transition. So I started doing citizen journalism for the Yahoo Contributor Network, Examiner.com, things that are now defunct. But it gave me my start. I even did some CNN reporting and things like that. I knew I needed to have a second career because they were going to pay me to take my ball and go home. They told me I was broken. And I kind of welcomed that. You know what I mean? I had 13 and a half years of it, and enough people shooting at me and bombs going off and whatnot. So I opted for a different kind of bomb, and that being the news, and that started I officially began in 2012 with the Hype magazine as the executive editor. I was putting a portfolio together for Forbes when I had an opportunity to meet Jamila, and she was on hiatus. The Hype magazine was on hiatus. And I said, look, I'm putting together a portfolio for Forbes, but I would rather be at a place where I can control the dynamics of the publication, that I could control the media message that we share, because I also did PR. So it was important to have an opportunity as opposed to money. She says, I can't pay you. At the time, I was making $5,000 a month free and clear from the military. I'm like, I don't need your money. I need an opportunity. And so we came together after that, and the rest is kind of history. Here we are 19 years in the game. Our 19th birthday was June 2nd. And we encompass radio now. We have partnerships with radio. We own a piece of some streaming radio. We have streaming television, and we have the magazine. We have the podcast, and we do events. So it's a full ride.
I am so proud of you. I didn't actually know all of that history. I think I probably knew about a quarter of that. That's
Wow.
just incredible. Look at you. Like, I think that's the thing too. If people don't recognize that sometimes with an opportunity, people are so busy chasing money that they don't see the big picture and what can really be done. And to be able to say 19 years later, from the creation of the Hype magazine, from a newsletter to this media organization, like you and Jamila should be so, so proud. I'm sure you are. This is incredible.
Every day we're amazed.
Yeah.
The struggles. I mean, there were the times when people wouldn't talk to you, wouldn't give you an interview, didn't recognize you and your worth. Even though we had captured the streets, we hadn't captured corporate minds.
Right.
And now we have the corporate minds to go along with the street, and we're constantly working to maintain a great mix
Yeah.
of the street and corporate. So now I'm getting press releases from Viacom and MTV and
What?
the NFL, the NBA, Big Three, people who wouldn't talk to us, up until several years ago.
Perseverance.
Yeah. And I
That's
got to thank
really,
you. I had to thank you for your support early on.
oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Sending representatives out to our events and things like that in LA. She took me to lunch and made me feel at ease in LA. And that really helped me out a lot. Thank you.
Totally. Yeah. Well, my pleasure. I mean, this was, we met right at the beginning of when NRPR had started. And so I knew that the Hype magazine was kind of getting its footing. And I thought, well, we're a little bit in the same boat. If we just support each other, we're both going to see each other grow. And I'll work with you, you work with me. And the energy, it was just so positive. The vibes were good. We're both people who like to work hard, who wanted to do our jobs well. So it just made so much sense. And I'm just so thankful that this relationship, has just flourished over the years. And it's like, oh, we got that. Ooh, that's Jerry. Oh, let me call Jerry. Like, you know what I mean? There are literally things that'll happen with some of our, our clients. And it's like, oh, that needs to go to Jerry at the Hype magazine. I mean, literally, we started working with Jeezy and doing his NFTs. And I was like, that is a Jerry story. He's going to get that one. Like,
thank you very much.
Yeah, it was. And that just goes to show that professionalism, friendship, genuinely looking out for what the other person is doing, that's what I'm, looking. It's like, this could probably be good visibility for his outlet. I'm gonna shoot him a text.
I appreciate that.
So,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that support, and I love the support in return. Just let me know whatever I can do. You always have an open door at the Hype magazine.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not at the Hype magazine, just call me. You got my number. So,
no, you are the best. It's been good just getting to know you as a human.
Thank you.
Over these years too, which is again why we have you here. I'm like, I want other people to know just how amazing Jerry Doby is. So with that being said, now you're getting all this attention from the Viacoms of the world, the NFLs, and it's probably created a flurry of just stuff in your inbox, right? And made it a little bit harder to sift through. Talk to us about that. Like, now that you're getting all of this stuff, what makes what makes something sort of grab your attention now that so many things are coming to you?
Well, I get about 250 to 300 pitch emails a day. It's hard to sift through. So what I look for specifically is that the who, what, when, where, and why is covered in the subject line. Get to the point. Tell me the story in 80 words or less in the subject line, so I know it's going to be worth my while to continue on to the first paragraph. That is one of the ways to succeed in getting my attention, and I think that those that have mastered that are the ones who get the most media attention, especially from an email. If you don't have someone's phone number and say, hey, I've got this coming, can you support? You have to maximize the time that you have with that person. And it's literally only seconds that you have, not minutes anymore. It's down to seconds.
I love that. As we're thinking about different social media fodder for NRPR, like, there are probably 2 or 3 perfect quotes in there from you that, like, as we're thinking of different things, like I want to highlight that quote and put like at Jerry, and literally that, if you can put the who, what, when, where, why in the subject line, absolutely. And that's, to me, it's the same thing for me. People are shooting me emails like, use our service, blah, blah, blah. So they're pitching more of services. And I'm thinking, okay, we pitch people all day. Y'all aren't doing it right.
Right.
You've got some junk over here. I'm going to hit delete before I even open the email up because that subject line didn't get me.
Happens a lot.
So yeah, no, that's a very, very good point. And so you also mentioned, if you have my phone number, you'll put that, whatever support. You also have to keep in mind, I'm very polite when it comes to, I'm not just going to ping you for just anything if I'm desperate. I'm going to ping you if I know that I'm like, you know what, this could actually be good for the Hype magazine. I also know that you're super busy, so you let me know what you've got time for if this makes any sense. I think keeping that balance of will you support me, but making sure it's a win-win. How important is that to you as well?
It's real important. If you take the time to know me, if you have my number, you should take the time to know me.
Yeah.
As I should take the time to know you. Do your research. What am I talking about? What have I been talking about for the last couple of months?
Mm-hmm.
What's the news cycle like?
Yep.
What is our foundational subject matter?
Yep.
This fits my friend Jerry,
Yes.
or this fits the Hype magazine overall picture. This is in their wheelhouse. And I just happen to have, while he might not specifically write about it, at least it's in the wheelhouse of the publication, and I can pitch it directly to the editor-in-chief.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that. And it's also good to just say, hey, what's up sometimes.
Yeah.
And that works.
Or hey, will you be on my podcast?
I really do not do much of this. I usually turn down interviews because I'm always surprised that anybody wants to hear anything that I have to say.
Aww.
I'm used to them telling me what they want to say, but the fact that I might actually have something to say, and I think I've been tweeting the last couple of days, specifically about receiving pitches from publicists. I think one that made me laugh was, it was a trying day. Yeah, trying to understand what these new publicists are talking about. That cracked me up. And I was like, it was early in the morning, somewhere around 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these pitches like, are you serious? And you call yourself
for real?
Yeah. And that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, this is totally like why I'm hoping that eventually PR pros, publicists will pay attention, will listen to shows like this and listen to the media. I think they get so like in this like robot, like must send this pitch, must send this press release, that they forget that it's human to human interaction that gets the stories told. Right. You need to make sure that the human on the other side receiving the pitch knows what the heck you're talking about and feels that there's value.
Right.
And I just think it's just with technology, with email, with, we'll just put this in a blast. Like,
I hate email blasts. I despise email blasts.
Thank you.
I despise that.
Yeah, that's like, do not send them. Just don't. Like, get to know, what, I feel like 10 stories that were told because you reached out to the 10 journalists, knew that it fit those 10, is more solid than you blasting 300 and hoping somebody sees it and decides they want to work it into their life.
Right. I delete email blasts almost immediately.
Just like, yeah.
As soon as I open it and it looks like an email blast and it comes from MailChimp, it's gone.
Done. You MailChimpers.
Yeah.
Stop it. Yeah. No. The only thing that should be in MailChimp is a newsletter that you've subscribed to.
Exactly. And also,
you've opted into a newsletter. Like, come on. Yeah.
Do not put my email address in a naked email with everybody else. I cannot.
That happens?
It still happens. Yes. You're in the email blast and your address is right in the CC, or in the two with 50 other journalists. Now I have used that to my advantage by getting contacts
You're
from
like,
other
oh, I know
journalists.
that person now.
Yeah, now I can email this person. I know how to reach out, but I hate that because then you get spammed by so much other stuff. I mean, I don't do baby toys. I don't do
Thank
baby
you.
carriages and things like that. That's not news to me. But I started to get those type of things because they do that. They put it in a naked email and go, here, this everybody in the industry that we know.
Like so exposed. You're like, no, please don't share my email address with
Please
people
don't.
that I don't want having my email. And don't send me things about baby stuff. Because if you read my magazine, you listen to the podcast, any of that, you would know that's not in our wheelhouse.
Just look at our media kit that's available on the website that says, yeah, we
Exactly.
covered things, anything news from hip hop to Hollywood, but that does not include baby carriages and
Thank
footies
you.
and doilies or things like that.
Oh my goodness. See, and these are the things like I really feel for members of the media because of this. I just feel like leaders in the industry, I've been in the industry over 21 years. It is my responsibility to make sure that the younger generations, the people coming up, are they're being taught the right ways, right? That they are being told, I don't care who it is, do not ever blast. If your CEO at a PR firm is telling you to go blast, you go to them and you say, no, because I know better. Can you please trust me to do this based on relationships?
Please do that.
Like, this is our responsibility because nobody wants to have to sit through 250 emails a day only to find that 10 of them are good.
Yes, it's frustrating. And I'm also the director of programming for the Hype TV. So I am covering that content as well. And I actually do the programming. So I'm spending, 4 or 5 hours a day just on the television side.
Right.
I don't have time
Yeah.
to try and pull
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody's got time for that. That's almost as bad as you remember artists used to just send you stuff saying, play my ish.
Right?
Like I don't
Oh,
want
here.
to I don't want to
I don't
play.
want to play that. Why are you trying to hand me your CD? Stop it.
No, leave me alone.
Oh my God. I love it.
Music.
So I mean, is there like if you could put it out there and say, okay, here's what you can do to make my life easier, other than looking at my media kit, reading the website, watching TV, listening to the podcast, getting to know us. What else could PR people do to make your life easier?
That's a big question. Because there's so many different styles of PR and so many different categories. People, in sports, people in, entertainment, people that, deal with mommy blogs and things like that. What could make my life easier is really simply knowing the content that we have produced. Our site updates every single day, 10 to 15 pieces a day. A quick look, just a quick look, will give you an idea of whether what you have to offer is in our wheelhouse, whether it would be of interest. You see liquor brands, you don't see baby brands. You see cannabis brands, you don't see baby brands. I'm harping on this because I'm really getting this mommy blog stuff. And we're an adult site as far as that goes. 14 to 65 is our age range. Mostly male, not female, and definitely not mommy age, baby
Right.
age.
Yeah.
So just know that kind of content, just a quick look would be easy. Send an introductory email if you're an agency. If you're an agency, what'll happen from some of the film networks and the TV networks, they'll send me a slate, upcoming slate, and they'll let me know what's coming from Warner Brothers. That lets me know what's coming from Viacom, whatever. And would I be interested in interviewing any of the talent? Would I be interested then in coming to the premieres, things like that? They do their research. They have a huge, massive team. I understand that it's a really segmented departments there. But if you could do some of those basics, the standalones, the mom and pop PR agencies, those that are have great clients and have great content, that just need to know which direction to push that content into. These are the things that it could do to make life easier.
Love that. And I love the fact that like you bring up the time that it takes to do the research and why that works. And I think so many people are trying to cut corners because they don't think they have time. Or, well, oh my gosh, if I waste time researching which people are the right people, then, I'm not going to hit enough. And that was why when NRPR started, research was the number one thing that we did. So if our list had 15 people on it, because we felt these are the 15 people we're going to go one-to-one on, give them a heads up. If 5 of them say no because they're too busy, or they're like, you know what, it's a little bit of a stretch, at least I've gotten feedback, right? That it's like, look, I've read a couple of things here. This feels like it could be right, but it might be a stretch. That is probably something that you would welcome over, oh, okay, well, we saw this and the name hype. Well, yeah, I want my client to get hyped up, so I'm gonna just send it to them.
They do that.
No, so I love that, because that is something that I know some of the junior members of my team are like, why do we have to spend so much time researching? And I'm like, believe me, you will see like the outcome of that. I would much rather you take your time. This is where you start building your list of homies. That's what I tell them. I'm like, I got my homies. And Jerry, you're on that list. I'm like, I got my homies. Like, I pay attention to what they're doing. I'm following them on social media. And then when it makes sense to hit them up, I hit them up. And I'm not putting them on any of my other teams like, oh yeah, hit up Jerry for anything. No, absolutely not. In fact, I protect that relationship. So I'm like, this is your opportunity to research, who do you want to make friends with?
Right.
That's what I tell them. Who do you want to make friends with? Do that research and then go for it, because those friendships turn into conversations. Those conversations turn into good story outcomes. And that research, it might feel like a lot up front, but man, does it pay off in the end.
And I used to be in the PR business.
Yeah.
And, that helped me a lot, was the research. I come from the time when we were doing mail outs, for God's sake. So, before the thumb drive, before email was, before internet was respected. I remember sitting there, making copies, collating the copies, stapling them, putting them in the mailer, getting bubble packs, spending, an inordinate amount of time.
Preach! Oh my God, I love it.
Sending out things. And that's one of the reasons why I quit doing PR, was because other people were were taking the shortcuts and were so used to what I call internet PR, that it devalued the brand of PR, of public relations. So, but at some point I'll delve back into it, but we're going to have to figure out, the
fight hard. You know what I mean?
The old school going to have to step to the forefront and take these kids by the hand.
Thank you. Jerry, literally grab them by the ear and be like, stop it.
Stop it. Don't
stop it. And that's exactly, as you're saying that, I remember when I was working for the Raiders, we would have to shove the media kits into envelopes, get them in the mail in time so they would hit the media on the East Coast before game day. They needed to get all these materials so that they had things at their fingertips. And I had to fax press releases.
Oh, yeah.
Cover letter.
Yes.
Right? Like, oh, hey, Jerry, blah, blah, blah. I know that you would ask to be, blah, sharing this, under embargo per our phone conversation.
Yes.
But at the core, Jerry, that was when PR, I feel like it worked. That relationship building, that friendship between the media and the PR people, you had to have that communication, that conversation
Right.
before they received anything, or they were just, it was getting lost in the shuffle. But
No file.
this internet PR and people thinking, oh yeah, I could do PR. You're right. And
You
it
could
has
do-
completely devalued our profession.
Yeah. I get, and I really don't want to put anybody on blast. I don't want to seem like a complainer.
No, hey, this is the time to vent, because the right people are going to be listening, and we're going to stop this mess. Vent.
Could we please spell check? Could we please use the proper syntax? Could we,
Thank you.
there and there are two different words, have two different meanings. They're not interchangeable.
Your.
Yes.
Yep.
Or not editing your client's responses to an email questionnaire before you submit it. One of the worst things that I do, because I don't have time to read it,
Right.
and I'll read it, but
Yeah.
I'm not out with my red pen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Old school red pen.
Ain't nobody got time. Hey, I used to get the red pen taken to me. When I first started, you'd come back and it's like you wrote something, that red pen looks like it's bleeding. You're like, oh, all right, I'll go redo that one.
Yeah, but then what happens is invariably I'll miss something. I'm not perfect, so I'll miss something. I'll publish it, and then a week later somebody's calling me back or emailing me back. Hey, just a quick edit. The quick edit turns into an entire paragraph. This is the crap that you should have got squared away before you even sent it out to me in the first place. So how many times did you have to give that quick edit email to an editor? So Double XL is going to pull your story. Source is going to pull your story. All Hip Hop's going to pull your story. Forbes is definitely going to pull your story. They're not going to do those edits. The Hype magazine is, we're really lenient. I'll go through, I'll do the edit, and then sometimes you'll get a price list. I'll give you an invoice to do the edit. Yeah, that's a new thing. Like, my time is worth $250 an hour. That's what I charge. You want me to edit your stuff after I've already published it, you're going to pay me.
And here's the PayPal invoice that just came. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'll send it by invoice for your taxes. No problem.
Yeah. I love that. No, honestly, I think that there aren't enough PR executives out there that take what we do seriously enough to put the right protocols in place and build infrastructure to ensure that this doesn't happen. Like, I literally, shout out to Fergs on our team. We have an in-house editor. Nothing leaves without her looking at it and me double checking.
Right.
Because honestly, we could be typing something really fast and I'm like, hey, you know what, Fergs, can you just double check this? It feels really good, but I just want to make sure. She'll take a look and be like, oh, you forgot the period. Thank you so much. So I send it out with full confidence that someone's going to read this and be like, she knows how to spell. She knows how to use grammar. She's smart. This pitch may not work, but I'm going to respond to her because I know that she's taken the time to write something that's at least cohesive, that has a coherent thought. But no, these are great tips. So simple.
Yeah. Use Grammarly. If you can't afford, if you don't have a team, spend the $19.99. Hopefully you're not taking free clients. So spend the $19.99 a month to have Grammarly Pro. Yeah. It'll help you with syntax. It'll help you with wordiness. It'll help you with, what do they call it? Soft paragraphs, soft sentences, flow, or whatever. And it'll help you with your flow, spelling, all of that good stuff. It's $20 a month.
Yeah.
If you're in this business, you're hopefully, like I said, not doing it for free. Invest in your business the same way we tell an artist to invest in their careers, or a client to invest in their career. By using us, but in the same vein, need to invest in our careers by using the tools that are out there for us. Grammarly is like one of the very best tools that I could propose to a publicist or a journalist. To use that and avoid some of the common mistakes, the elementary mistakes that are common now.
You know, the funny thing is too, I've even told my team, and this might be something, that we can switch back, I've even told my team, go pick up a fifth grade grammar book
Mm,
and start at the beginning.
hmm.
Start clearing in your mind those rules. Because right around fourth and fifth grade is when it starts to actually get like, ooh, wait a minute, sentence structure. And I have to think about this. Starting from the beginning and like remembering all of those tools and then getting your way up. I did that with my daughter. She's 20 years old. And I'm like, you will not embarrass me, girlfriend. Your emails, you send them to future bosses, future whatever. You are going to use proper grammar and spelling. And if you have to go back to this elementary book until you get it right, I'll tell you, my daughter is 20. She writes better than a lot of adults I know because I'm like, the written word is power. If you can get someone to say yes in a clear, because of a clear email, because of clear instructions, that's power,
Yes.
So, and respect, media, you guys, journalists, media people, you guys are writing all day. You guys are going to be the number one judges, right?
Yep. And I will throw a story out if I have to edit it. I don't mind the fact that everybody doesn't know that we no longer use two spaces, after a period.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind that, those little nuances that most people won't know. I mean, I don't even mind if they don't use AP down style in their headlines.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they capitalize every freaking word.
Right.
What I don't like is all caps, but if they capitalize every little word, including the N's and the D's and things like that, I don't mind, fixing that kind of stuff. But
I love it.
just pay a little attention, just a little bit, and
Goes a long way.
respect the profession.
Yes.
It goes for journalists as well. I think that some of our younger journalists are writing the way they speak, and people are receiving that, and it's downgrading not just the profession of journalism, but it's also downgrading our society because people are accepting that, and they're adapting to a lesser English rather than working with the King's English. So it has a far-reaching effect, outside of our little realms of media and PR. We have the next level of youngster that's coming up that's reading your story about their favorite artist. And if you are not generating good quality content using the King's English the way it was meant to be used,
Preach.
then you're hurting our children.
Yes.
I don't want to preach, but
Woo! No, but like this is fire, Jerry. This is what people need to hear. These are things that I think of like all the time, and I'm like, I call me crazy, but like we have to respect our English language. We have to show respect for the way it was created, in the way that, look, there's a reason certain words, I don't know, have a meaning so that we can understand what people are trying to say. And if we're moving things around or whatever, I'll tell you, there are certain rappers I won't even listen to because I'll be like, ooh, I'll be catching their bad English or their bad grammar. And I'm like, can't. I can't. Because you know what? Now you're setting a bad example. I'm like, you didn't even use that in the right context.
in the right context.
Right? Like, I'm telling you, when a musician can not only take words, but use them well with wit, and like you can tell that they're educated and they just know how to use the English language and they're not just putting it together because it just came off the top of their head.
Right.
Mad respect. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love Dre. I love some of these old school, like we'll call them old school rappers or whatever, but I'm like, you can listen to that and be like, they are speaking English.
Right. They're utilizing the language correctly.
Yes.
They might be slick with it.
Yeah.
There might be, some shortcuts in there, but for the most, and on top of that, they enunciate. Did I say that?
Yeah. Jerry, this is too much. Enunciate your words.
Yeah. If you're gonna say something, say something.
Right?
I'm
All
just
these
having,
ready, you know what? Now y'all are acting like you don't know how to act.
yeah,
Right?
exactly. Act like you know how to act.
Thank
Jeez.
you. Oh my
Uh,
God. This
yeah,
is
I
so
have a little
fun.
fun with it. Have a little fun with it.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's how it should be too. It's like, we got to sprinkle some humor on it because every day we're dealing with it, right? And I'm like, the only thing I know how to do is set a good example for the future generations. That's it. That's all I can do, and hope that other leaders in PR see that, right? And you know, as we're kind of getting ready to close here, what do you think it's going to take to get PR and media people sort of in better habits of using proper English? Is it us holding everyone to a higher standard? What does that look like? If you could think of any sort of solution.
well, we're in the era of babies raising babies, raising babies. So, you know, um, on many levels, we have a deterioration of the community, the English language. Um, what is it going to take is for the youngsters to respect the elders to have the courage and intestinal fortitude to step up to these youngsters and say, hey, we need to do it this way. We need to maintain a certain level, go moving forward, because we're responsible on a greater level, for those that are
To
going
the
to follow.
greater good.
Yes,
We are responsible for the greater good. You're absolutely right.
right. So that's kind of what it's going to take, in my humble
Mic
opinion.
drop. No, I agree. And I think, again, I thank God every day that I had a Puerto Rican mom he was just like, this is it, this is it. It's how it's gonna be. And
Mhm.
if you don't like it, well, you're not gonna eat, kind of thing. And it was just kind of like, but what she taught me was what respect, right? For elders,
Right.
respect for the way things were done in the house, and it taught me as well, like as a mom, me and my daughter, we talk, but there's certain, like, okay, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to
There
make
you
sure that
go.
as you grow up into this world, you aren't messing up,
Right.
because you are going to be the future. So here's what my responsibility is, as your parent. I'm going to make sure that you understand the importance of education, the importance of how to use the English language, the importance of respect for others, and especially respect for me and your dad, period.
Right.
Because if you can't respect us, you're going to go out and you're going to mouth off to a teacher who's going to, and then if you get away with that, you are going to try to mouth off to a police officer, and then that's
Mm,
going to go all bad, right? And then
not,
to a
not
future
today.
boss.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think it's us as adults, not in a way that's overwhelming to the kids that it's, whatever, because then that can go, that's a completely different thing. But like with respect, where it's like, here's how we're going to do it. And I'm telling you, at NRPR, there's amount of respect all around for all employees, for the team members. But if someone's out of line or someone's doing something wrong, we call it out. Don't be afraid to do that, because you have to think about the greater good. Jerry, I am like, we could talk about this forever. You are
Yeah. Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you for the
Oh my
opportunity. I
God.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I'd love to have you back. Like, I feel like this is just part one, and we're going to go away and be like, oh my God, you know what? Here's another thing I'm thinking. Now we
Yeah,
got to
I would
do
love to come
this.
back. I would love
I
to.
know.
I would love to come back. I would love to have the opportunity, to chat with you again. And
We're putting good things out in the universe. You never know. People might be listening and saying, you know what? I'm going to make that change.
well,
Michael said it. Like, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. His name is Jerry. Oh
yeah,
my goodness. I love it. I love it. Well,
well,
Jerry, I want to make sure that people are able to find you and find the Hype Magazine everywhere you want to be found. So can you share with us all social media handles, websites, all of that, so that people can go find you and do their research?
yeah. Most importantly, find us at www.thehypemagazine.com. Our verified Twitter is The Hype Magazine, Facebook, The Hype Magazine, Instagram is The Hype Magazine Network. You can also go check us out, on hypetv.com. And I'm working on that. It's still a work in progress, but we have some great programming over there. And for me personally, I'm just Jerry Doby _ everywhere. Anywhere that you could think of, that's where I'm at. I learned from the best.
Aww, love it, love it, love it. Well, thank you from the bottom of my heart for making time for this. We are going to have you back. I feel like this was just step one. I feel like there was a lot of great just knowledge shared here. Good energy as always. But yeah, and for those of you who took the time to tune in, thank you. I hope you learned a lot, took notes, and I hope you will go check Jerry and the Hype Magazine out. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube if you're watching it right here. For more information on Perfect Pitch or NRPR Group, you can find us at our website, www.nrprgroup.com, or at NRPR Group, branded across the internet like Jerry. So thank you all, and thank you most importantly, Jerry, for joining us on Perfect Pitch.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.